All right guys, so I got a good video for you guys today, and I want to explain a little bit about spray guns and which ones you're going to want to use and why the manufacturer of the paint recommends certain spray guns. So I came across the color here at the shop. This was the first one I had a tint from the new glasurit 100 line because the camera had no chance of picking this color, being it was old and faded. So we did shoot it. It came up with a 6. So a 6 is not even something you want to even think about mixing. So I knew that I was going to have to go back to the old ways of tinting colors. So I mixed up standard and we did some spray outs, and we got a good match on that color, being it is so old and faded. So this wasn't something I had to make perfect, but you guys know I like to do above and beyond and try to give the customer what I would be happy with. So I went ahead, tinted the color, got it very close, but I want to explain to you why the paint companies like to, refer spray guns to you guys, and they tell you which ones they want you to use. That is because they test those guns out with their paint, and they can identify that that color will match if you use the right air pressure, the right head, and the right nozzle. So for these last couple of weeks, I've been introducing my old guns back. So on this particular job, I broke out the Luma, and you guys know I always love those guns. So that gun is kind of different than most guns because it has a 1.5 head. And this new glasurit is a very thick product. So I said, you know what, let's try out the Luma gun, being that it has that 1.5, but it has phenomenal atomization. So these are the two jobs that we sprayed with the Luma gun. We use this one for the base, and then I thought, you know what, let's try it out for the clear as well. That doesn't matter as far as obviously color match, but you wanna have a gun that's gonna lay it out. And I like to try all my guns that I had before with the new product. So this was a perfect job to try out that gun because I knew I had to do a lot of color matching and I was gonna be checking my chips. So we did a spray out, we got a good match. If you follow me on Instagram at Car Candyman, you'll see the video of me playing with it, getting it right. And I'll show you the car now, and then we'll go ahead and we're gonna shoot one today with the Luma stuff, and I wanted to show you guys how nice it works. All right, so that's the spray out card, and you guys seen it matches the bumper. This is what we're gonna be checking whenever we're gonna be spraying a new gun with a new paint line. You wanna make sure that you check your spray out card, because through the years, I've done jobs where I might have finished up that job and then somehow a part came or something happened to that job and I might have grabbed a different gun. And that has changed the color just enough to make that job not look the way you want to. So always, if you spray a job and you start out with one gun, do not switch to a different gun ever in the middle of that job, because you will have a problem with it. It's just enough to make that color not match if a panel is gonna be butted up. So always use a spray gun that you started out with that job all the way through that job, and that way you will not have any problems. So I wanna go ahead and get that bumper over here. We'll stick it up here and see how it looks, and then we'll start on the Tesla that we're gonna shoot today with the Luma gun. All right, so let's get the bumper out. We can check the card all we want, but the biggest thing is gonna be whether this bumper looks good on the vehicle. So we know we're not going for perfection here, as I told you guys, but I wanted to give them a little bit something better than what obviously they had done on the back of this car. You guys see there's a lot of different colors here on this here job. See this here color? Way off. Somebody must have done this, they must have done this, and they must have done this, as well as the spoiler and the roof. So the colors are way off, and I wanted to try to give them something a little bit better than that. So let's try out the bumper on the car. All right, so I think that color is definitely acceptable, and I wanted to show you guys what we originally started out with. So this dark spot is the original standard formula that we started, and then we tinted it. So look at the difference between the color of how far I had to go with that to make it look right. So definitely ridiculous how much that car has faded over the years, but I wanted to show you guys. I don't think we're perfect, but I know that we have a good match now, and I feel comfortable having that car delivered to that customer. So let's go ahead and get back in there and get that Tesla shot. All right, so this here's the job we're gonna be shooting today. We'll test out them Luma guns again with you guys. I wanted to show you how nice they work with the paint. but we put a new quarter panel on this here job. We're gonna be blending the door. We've got a new bumper, and we're gonna be painting the trunk with a blend as well. So this will be a nice job to test out those guns. So if you get a new system, or even if you're buying paint at your house, try different guns, because different guns are gonna spray each material differently, and you may be happier with a different gun than you might have put back in your box and not used again for a while. So I like to bring all my guns back out. You guys know I've sprayed many lines through the years, so I like to try everything out again. That way I can see what works best with each system. All right, so we were masking this one up, and I wanted to show you guys a tip that may save you a big problem later on. You guys see here that we are painting this uniside, but this fender is gonna be staying on this vehicle. There is some gaps that is a chance of overspraying. So if you guys see here, we masked off the seams. Mask your seams off all along the area where you're gonna be maybe having some overspray going into those cracks, because it can come out and then it will overspray your hood and your fender. So this here is a big thing to do to make sure you're not gonna have any of that overspray going in here and misting up and getting on the outside of the area that you're not painting. So just wanted to show you guys that as I'm wrapping it up. And let me get this thing bagged up so we can shoot it. All right, so we mixed up that color, and we're going with one of the colors I sprayed before with the WS400 gun. That way we can see if the color is gonna match with the Luma 3. So we've got our spray out card in here for the Teslas. We'll go ahead and get it out. We've got some of the blues here. We're gonna be going with this one here. That's one I had done a while back with the black sealer on it. So let's go ahead, we'll spray a new one. We'll get our spray out card, we'll make sure we seal this, and then we're gonna compare the two together to make sure that our color is still the same by spraying the Luma gun. All right, so I hope that that cleared up some things about having different spray guns and why a lot of the manufacturers of these paint lines want you to use specific guns, because those are the guns that they test in the laboratory. And you guys seen that we tested it ourselves. We used the lumaiii gun. We checked it to the other gun that is approved for glasurit, the WS400, that was actually made for this line. But you see this gun here did the exact same thing, but we did the research ourselves. So if you're gonna try out a gun that you haven't seen on the list, make sure you check it, make sure you do your spray out cards, make sure you dial in your air pressure, and remember and mark your settings for what you sprayed that card at. That way you can duplicate it again. This here gun is a very nice gun. It's in the mid-4s. They're always running deals on them at lumaiii. So these are a great gun for the guys at the house as well as the professional. You guys see how nice that Tesla came out. And I use their light all the time. I'm not really a big fan of having it on the gun because you guys know we got really good lighting in here. And I like to have it on me at all times because I'm always around the shop checking colors. So to me, it's the perfect size to keep in your pocket or in your lab coat while you're painting. And then you guys see I go in there with it in the dark and check for coverage. But great gun, you guys see. So make sure you check your gun with your spray outs, with your system. That way you know it's gonna match, because we don't care what anybody else says other than having that card match the vehicle. That's the whole outcome of what we want. We want a good color match, and you guys see we had that here with the lumaiii. So we'll start using more of the lumaiii. I hope you guys got something out of this. We'll see you guys in the next one.